Okay, and 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the show.
I can't hear you yet.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
Can you really not?
No.
Let
I
me
could
see.
hear you before.
Hear me now?
Nah.
No?
Can you hear me?
Are you fucking with me? I can hear you fine.
Hello? Hello? Ooh.
Try fixing that on your side. Yeah. Try messing with it. Hello? You can hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can I hear? I can't hear myself.
You can hear yourself. Was it that thing?
I don't know. I turned this off and it started working.
Oh. Talking it again?
Hello?
Okay, it's on.
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Okay. Well,
Uh-oh. So, how close do I have to? Can you hear me right here? And
yeah, just, talking it as close as you can,
okay.
really.
Get up close and personal.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
So, right before, this is Seraphim Sherman. I don't know if
Hello.
I said your name yet. So where are you going on a trip with your girlfriend?
In August, we're going to Portugal for, we're going to be in the country for 11 days. So, the first, half of it, we're going to be in Lisbon for a week-ish. And then, we're going to take a bus or a train or something.
Lisbon?
Mm-hmm. It's the capital. The biggest city. I think it's the capital. I hope so. But it's at least the biggest city. But we're going to take a bus or something and go up to Porto. And we'll be up there for 4 or 5 days or so.
Nice.
But
what are you doing over there? It is the capital. You're right.
we haven't really decided yet. We're still working on that.
Why Portugal though?
Someone asked me that the other day, and I honestly, I feel like I had a reason for it at the time.
So it was your idea.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna go to Portugal, and I was like, I would feel bad if I went to Portugal and I didn't,
It's just you two?
Yeah, it's just us two
Oh,
going.
nice.
So I was like, I'd feel bad if I went and didn't even offer, a chance to go. So we're going together.
Would you like a caffeine mint?
A caffeine mint?
Mm?
Bro.
Only 40 milligrams.
I don't take caffeine.
It's 40 milligrams. It's like half a
that a
cup
lot?
of coffee. No, it's like half a Red Bull. It's not that much. Tastes good though.
It's like Adderall?
I love them.
Do I just chew it
It's
or
like
do
you can chew it, but I just suck on it.
I... Alright.
Yeah.
No comment.
Is this the first trip you guys have ever taken together? Like just the two of you?
It'll
like
be...
this?
Not this big. I mean, this big, yes. We went to St. Louis back in March. We were there for... Should I be looking at you or the camera? I mean, I don't know.
Just look at me.
All right.
I don't look at the camera.
Okay.
I just look at it to make sure it's red, which it is. So to make sure it's recording.
But we went to St. Louis in March because... Again, I don't really remember why. I know she had been there before when she was younger. I'd never been, and I wanted to go. And we kind of we wanted to take a trip, but not somewhere super expensive like New York, Chicago, L.A.
Yeah.
And so we ended up in St. Louis, and it was pretty cool. The Arch was...
Isn't that one of the most violent cities in the world?
I've been hearing these
I think it's
since
like
a little
top 3.
It's pretty... I don't think top 3, but from what I have seen, there's definitely a lot of crime going on in St. Louis. But we did not see anything. The neighborhood we were in was beautiful.
You guys stay in a hotel?
No, we stayed at a Airbnb, I think, in this condo tower. And one night, there was a bar about a mile away.
Number 7
in
the United States.
That's pretty.
Memphis is number 4. So.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But one night we went to this barbecue place that was a mile away from where we were staying.
Mm.
Ordered a pitcher of beer, right? With our food, we drank the first pitcher.
And this trip was just the two of you again?
Yeah, this was in March. Just the two of us.
Cute.
And we're at this place, pitcher of beer, and drink it, and I'm very, very drunk already.
Yeah.
And we see the waitress about to come by finally, and I was like, should we get another pitcher? Because at the time I thought this was a good idea, because I didn't realize what kind of state I was in.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I was like, can we? She was like, do y'all need any? Do you need anything? I was like, can we get another pitcher of beer? just the two of us.
Yeah.
Mostly me on the first one. I think I had like 3 or 4 beers to her
Yeah.
one.
Uh-huh.
Mostly me on the second one. And
Okay.
I vaguely remember walking back. But
After drinking it?
yeah,
or
this
just
is like
getting it?
this is like after drinking it, of course.
Okay.
We drunk the whole second one, which is where I definitely blacked out walking the streets of St. Louis, but
Yeah.
we were perfectly fine. So I feel like it's not too bad. Anecdotally, at
Yeah.
least, if two tourists can walk around, at midnight.
You
Very-
are on the streets?
Yeah, very drunk. Walked a mile.
In the 7th most violent city in America. Yeah.
Dude,
Nothing.
if you saw the neighborhood we were in, I mean, it looked pretty nice, at least.
Yeah.
There was like a big old cathedral right
Yeah.
near us, which was very, very nice. I'm pretty sure while we were walking by drunk, I think I took many pictures of it
Yeah.
because, it's
It's
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty.
yeah, we did that. That was St. Louis. Honestly, was a lot more fun than I was expecting. Cause what the fuck is in St. Louis?
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Is this safe to drink with this mint in my mouth?
Yeah.
It's not gonna taste weird.
I don't think so. Does it?
I mean,
Tastes pretty normal to me. I
it's
mean, there's a
not-
lot of ice in mine.
it's not the
so-
strangest thing I've ever tasted
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
It's like just kind of minty coffee.
Yeah. I like it.
And honestly, mint and coffee, like ice cream together, fire.
Yeah.
So why?
Delicious.
Yeah. Oh,
I've actually never had coffee ice cream.
really,
Yeah.
man.
I was just
dude.
thinking about it the other day because my sister used to be really into it. But,
Bro.
and I love coffee and I like ice cream.
See, I don't like coffee. I'm actually gonna sit up. I don't like coffee at all, really.
Like the
like-
flavor of it, you don't like it?
No, I just like drinking coffee. Like, personally, I try and, in some regards, try and limit my like intake of things. And I know that if I start drinking coffee, like,
yeah.
I'm gonna wake up every fucking morning and be
I
like,
wanna drink coffee.
"Don't
Yeah.
talk to me until I have my coffee."
Yeah.
And personally, I
You don't want to be
no
like
offense to the people that have those shirts, but
No.
I don't want to. I like being able to wake up in the morning and just.
that. And not need a coffee.
Yeah. Plus, it's like. I like the taste of coffee. I love coffee ice cream. One of
Yeah.
my top probably 4 ice cream flavors.
Wow.
Might be a
Okay.
controversial take. But I just the caffeine and people are like, oh, just drink black coffee. But what the fuck?
Yeah.
I cannot drink straight black coffee. I've done it a few times, but I only like coffee if it's filled with
Sugar.
cream and sugar. And I don't want to. I'm not trying to drink sugar.
Yeah.
It's like I don't really drink like soda that much.
Because of all the sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I used to drink a lot of soda, and then
Yeah, I remember.
I just kind of woke up one day. I was like, I just need to drink water, and
Yeah.
I started. I only drank water for like literally at least 3 years,
Yeah.
and then I started drinking like lemon. Well, I mean, I would drink like lemonade, too, and that's not to say that
You ever
lemon.
tried lemon water?
I have tried lemon water.
pretty
Well, are you
refreshing.
talking about like water that has a lemon slice in it, or lemon water?
What's the difference? I mean, like lemon water is more lemony.
Yeah.
Yeah, like lemon juice with
Yeah.
water. Yeah. But,
I don't know.
yeah.
I like lemon water more than I do water with lemon.
I used to think I was such a, I don't know what you call it, but I thought it was really ironic because I've always felt the same way about coffee. Like
Mhm.
I do love coffee, but I don't really smoke weed much anymore. But when it came to coffee, I would be very conscious of it. If I would drink like 3 days in a row,
Mm-hmm.
I would think to myself like I gotta cut back. Like I don't want to be addicted to this coffee
Yeah.
every day. When I would smoke weed all the time.
Yeah.
Like, but that would not faze me. It wouldn't bother me.
You
at
gotta
all.
you gotta pick your poisons.
Yeah.
I feel like. I mean.
But I think coffee is way worse. Or not. I think coffee is way better than smoking weed every day.
Probably.
In some aspects of it. But
I
for some
mean-
reason it worried me so much more. I was so conscious of it.
Caffeine is like, statistically speaking, I think it is the drug that like the most people are addicted to.
Oh, for sure.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. It's like 80% of people. I
yeah,
think, at
so it's
least in
kinda
the
just like-
US.
if you're smoking weed, you're getting down a little bit. If you drink coffee, you're getting up a little bit. So I guess it's kind of just.
Yeah. Well, sometimes weed gets you really up.
That is, that's very true.
Yeah. It's kind of mostly why I stopped smoking it, because I would normally just get too paranoid.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it normally got to.
I feel like that I know quite a few people that's happened to. It's like they used to smoke a lot, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know if it was sudden for you, but like, some people, it was like, one day they're smoking, and then the next day it's like, oh, I don't smoke anymore. It makes me paranoid. It's
I don't know if it was sudden exactly, but I just took a break for a while because I wanted to. And this is when I was.
It was a while ago, right?
Yeah, it was when I was like 18 when I first started. I took a break because I wanted to try to focus more on my school, I guess at the time. And
was this in high school or after high school?
It was in high school.
Okay.
It was my senior year of high school.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. But when I first started smoking, which was my junior year, I had no problem ever. Like, I would just smoke all the time, and I would never worry me about, like, oh God, what if I get paranoid on this? Like, it never crossed my mind.
I mean, that's like, when you just start doing anything, you're not really thinking about what are the long-term consequences of me doing this.
Well, I wasn't even thinking about that. It was just, it wasn't like, now when I smoke, it's a thought that almost right before or right. What, are you going to cough?
I was burping.
Oh, you're good, man.
Try to be respectful, like Tays on day. Move away from the mic when I cough.
Yeah, you can burp, man. I don't care.
Gotta be gentlemanly.
Give a good sound effect. But yeah, now, I mean, ever since then, normally when I smoke, it'll normally make me paranoid too, but I have the thought like, uh-oh, what if I get paranoid on this? Like, it's like a thought that I have.
Does that that feeling of worry about getting paranoid, does that make you
paranoid?
Is it like a cause?
It's pretty self-inducing. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that, yeah. 'Cause like, I mean, there have been times for me where like I'll have smoked and then I'm just kind of walking around for the next like hour or two, like, or like, I'll have like just gotten home or something, and I'm like, every tree I can, I sense something waiting behind it, that type of thing. Like, you look at somebody and you're like,
this guy looks weird. Is he looking at me?
Is he looking at me? Is he out to get me? What does he want with me? What does he know?
Do they know that I'm high?
Yeah.
No.
And like, yeah.
What's it like still living with your parents? Because you're about to be 22 in a few days.
Honestly, it's not that bad. Free rent is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I like my parents.
Has that ever been an issue? Have they ever threatened to like charge you rent?
No.
Or do they like you living there?
I mean, they are definitely ready to be empty nesters.
Yeah. Because you're the last one, right?
Well, Naomi moved back.
Okay.
Yeah, she moved back in after she graduated. She's supposed to go to vet school.
What's the difference? Like 2 years?
Yeah, she's like a year and 10 months older than me, so a year and a half older than you.
Yeah. Same with Caleb and me.
So, but no, they definitely are ready for us to go, so they can probably move somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm
Didn't Naomi move out of country for a while?
No, Katie did.
Okay.
Back in like 2016, I think she moved. But then she had to come back. But no, I think I probably have like a year. I would say maybe less. If I was still like in school, they'd probably give me more time. But like since I'm working, I have a job.
Yeah.
They are like, you can move out, but also they understand how fucking expensive it is. And
yeah, my parents are being pretty gracious to me, and that's one of the reasons why they're letting me move back in, because they know how expensive it is.
How are you feeling about that? Because you've been out of the house for like what, 3-4 years now?
Yeah, about to be 4, about 3.5, I guess. I feel good about it. I think it's gonna be good for me.
Is it just you moving back in, or?
Yeah, everyone's going. We're all going our separate ways.
Really?
Yeah, Josh is moving in with his friend Billy.
This Billy?
Yeah, this Billy. Caleb is moving.
They going here or somewhere else?
No, they're going somewhere else. They don't know where yet, even though it's in a few weeks. But yeah, they're gonna.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, just raw dog it. Yeah, they're gonna get an apartment. As far as I know, it's just the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb is moving in with this guy named Chris. That he goes to mom's church, and he was apparently looking for a roommate. He lives in a house. He was gonna charge pretty cheap rent, and Caleb likes the guy. It seems like they get along pretty well.
Yeah.
Seems like he's mom described him as pretty different from most of the people who go to church. You know, like he's more like a rugged kind of guy.
Mm.
Like he's got tattoos, which that is already strange.
He's edgy. I see.
I mean, maybe
he's a little out
maybe
there.
5% of people who go to that church have tattoos. Maybe.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
not many. Everyone there is very clean cut.
I mean,
proper types of people.
I feel like a lot of people have tattoos, but they're just hidden.
You think so?
Not like, I mean, not a large amount, like a large percentage by any means, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would say 5-10% is probably, because I feel like a lot of like, because when we were like probably like teens and they're all like the younger adults that were going, I feel like most of them had like some type of
I
tattoo.
think so. Maybe.
Probably. You know, I mean, who knows? But
How do you think? Well, first of all, other question. When the last time you went to church? Like, I guess that church specifically.
oh, I don't even know. It's been a while. Probably 2018, 2019, whatever that Pascha was. That
I was at.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
okay.
I don't know if that was the last time you were there or not, but
No, I mean I was there for Genevieve got married.
I saw.
I
Yeah.
was there for that. It was a very pretty ceremony. Good for her and Tom. But
I saw they were gallivanting across Europe.
yeah. They took a really
Man,
extensive.
she was posting
trip.
those pictures on like on her Instagram, and I was
Oh,
seeing them.
really?
I was like, where the hell are you going?
Yeah, she went to. I know she went to Florence.
She went to man, France, Florence,
a lot of places.
I think Prague.
Yeah,
Like, you know, all
I'm jealous,
over,
man.
bro.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
But I was gonna ask, how do you think that growing up in specifically like Orthodox Christian church,
Yeah.
like impacted you?
I mean, oh boy.
And this is long form, so you can talk.
Yeah, this is a
however you
pretty
want.
deep question.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's impacted me to this day. You know, like I would not be who I am if we hadn't grown up being Orthodox by like any means. I don't think I would be like I don't think I would be even like close to who I am today. Like some of the things I definitely am not, the biggest fan of, but like the kind of overall message of like, help out people in need. Try your best, do what you can. That has resonated with me, and I feel like for me the biggest thing was, not necessarily the scripture, but like the homilies and our priest, and kind of the way that like, because there have been several times where I have gone to him in need, and he has been able to help me get out of that, and I am forever grateful for that, because it was like I have no idea who else to turn to, so I'm gonna go here. And so that has helped pull me out of like some really dark places.
So he was a really good mentor on that kind of level of like giving advice.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. Because like even when I was a kid, like he still like respects you and treats you, like normally. Because a lot of people, when you're, 9, 10 years old, kind of look at you and you're like, oh, you don't know shit about anything.
Yeah, he doesn't talk down.
Yeah. And I feel like there are definitely quite a few people in religious positions that take advantage of what they what they are, but he is a like very good through and through, and the fact that he's able to do that for a lot of people is it's inspiring, and like seeing the sense of community that was fostered through the church is very, inspiring, because like when it started out there weren't many people, and then by the time like we stopped going, there were a lot of people
you were there
going.
before I was there.
Yeah, my family started it, so
Yeah.
like I saw it grow from nothing into what it was.
I think now too it's bigger than it ever has been.
Good.
I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, it's definitely affected me. Like I don't know, I still kind of am trying to figure out what I believe. But
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of framework will always, always be there. If that makes sense.
Yeah. You ever think about going back?
I have.
Maybe not that church specifically, but just
I have.
some
Any
sort of
anytime
religion.
I've been in like when I was in Italy and I went into all of the cathedrals and churches
Yeah.
in St. Louis, when I went there for my grandmother's funeral, like going to St. Ignatius, like it is a very like for my grandma's funeral in the morning I read Psalms, and I have not done that in
Yeah.
a very long time, but standing there, reading and speaking like what was being said was very, powerful,
Yeah.
kind of. Because like, I mean, when you're growing up, like you go to church, but you don't really understand
think about
really,
Yeah.
you're not, except for some people, you're not really paying like too much attention to it.
Yeah. Just kind of flies over your head.
Yeah. And like one of the times I went to our priest, he was like, like recently-ish, he was like, you have to figure it out yourself. Like you have to,
Yeah.
he was like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to come back to church. I think you should, but you are the one that has to walk the path and figure it out.
How recent are we talking?
That was in 2020, 2021-ish. So
Yeah.
pretty recently.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah. This is very good. The more
Yeah, we're drinking, for anyone who's listening or even watching, you can't see it, we're drinking White Russians. Shout out to the dude. You
Facts.
seen the Big Lebowski?
No, my sister doesn't like it, so like the one time I
Oh.
was going to watch it.
She was just shitting on it.
Yeah, bad memories, I think, or bad association, so I was
With
like,
the movie?
yeah, so I don't really
Okay.
know, but I was like, I'm not going to,
Make her sit through
She's fucking 9 years older than me, so
Yeah.
especially back then, what she said
Mm.
kind of overruled,
Yeah.
so
So you live with Naomi still?
yeah.
Like, again? Because she
Mhm.
moved out.
She
for
moved
like
out for
3
college
years,
for
right?
4 years, yeah.
4 years.
Yeah, so it was just me for actually not even that long, because like my older sister is married now.
Not Naomi.
No, Catherine.
Yeah.
The older
Okay.
one. She's married. She moved out like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And then Nathaniel moved out last winter because he got a job as a lawyer up in Clarksville.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
I probably shouldn't have said that. He probably wouldn't want me to say that. But
He's a lawyer?
yeah, he doesn't like people know what he's up to because he's mysterious or whatever. Nah, not really.
Have you ever
He just
seen
doesn't like
him?
people talking about him. My bad.
Have you ever seen him in action?
No, but he apparently got his first guilty verdict today. So he's a DUI lawyer. He's
DUI
a prosecutor.
lawyer?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's a
so he
prosecutor, I
wanted
think.
him to be guilty.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Which it's like, I don't really know what my family does. Like, I know what they're like, the broad details, but not the specifics.
Yeah.
So like, someone asked me what my brother's, profession. Oh, he's a DUI lawyer. They're like, oh, is he, like a defense attorney? Is he a
Yeah.
prosecutor? I'm like, But now I know he's a prosecutor.
Okay.
I don't know how long I'll remember that for.
Yeah.
But right now,
Yeah.
right now I know that.
You think he's any good?
Oh, probably. I mean, he's a very smart person.
Yeah. He was always very smart. He didn't talk a lot though.
No, he's
And not even that he didn't talk a lot. He was just very like quiet. He doesn't seem like a guy who would like be good at arguing when it comes to
no, he is
volume
very,
of his voice.
I mean, arguing isn't
He's
about
well-spoken.
volume though.
Yeah,
like
I know.
if you're trying to get in front of a jury and say
Yeah.
that this guy is guilty of drunk driving or whatever,
Yeah.
you don't want to be up there yelling,
Yeah.
this man, blah, you know.
Yeah.
Because then you're kind of like, oh, that guy's a little crazy. But if you're up there just talking normally, like, you know, this guy did this, here's the facts, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, you know, facts.
Maybe you're right.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
You think if you got a DUI, well, I guess that wouldn't even be.
Maybe in Clarksville, he would definitely prosecute me to the full.
You think he would?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
He's a upstanding lawyer.
Of course. Yeah.
You know, like I ask him questions all the time because,
Yeah.
you know, I'm trying to learn
Yeah.
what I can and
I
cannot
feel
do.
Like you might be a good lawyer.
Me?
Yeah, if you ever wanted to.
I could
see
be.
you doing it too.
But, like-
maybe just because I've already seen you like be professional with like the real estate business. You did that for
Yeah.
what, 2 years?
Give or take, yeah. Never really. Y'all were literally the only like thing that actually manifested that actually happened.
Damn, really?
I was kind of slacking though, because I was in school and I was like just really kind of lost at the time, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of fucking around, trying to figure out what I was doing, and when I knew what I should have been doing, I just didn't really want to like, you know, buckle up and get at it.
Yeah.
And if I had, I'd be in a very different place than I am now, and I realized that, but.
If you had kept at it.
Yo, yeah, if I had taken it seriously, because my thing was always like, so I was only in school for 3 years, for
Yeah.
college, but I was in school the full 3 years, winter classes and summer classes.
Yeah.
At least after COVID, I don't think my first semester, I don't think I took winter classes. So I never really I would get off of school for summer, and then I would have 2 weeks off before I had like a 3-week summer class where I'm doing stuff, you know,
Yeah.
8 to fucking like 2 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
Monday to Friday. And real estate is mostly it's not a 9 to 5 specifically, but,
Yeah.
you know, around then and after
Yeah.
then, and really all the time. And I was like, you know, as long as I'm in school, I'll just do real estate afterwards. And then I kind of realized how inconsistent real estate is, and I was like, I don't
Like
really
the hours or just like the
just the
paycheck?
pay. And
Yeah.
I like, you know, I it may not be the best thing about me, but when it comes to money, I will take the safe route. You know,
Yeah.
like I've tried my fair share of ways to make some money. Some of them have worked, some of them haven't. But at the end of the day, if I can just work and 2 weeks later I get paid, or a week later I get paid, I'll take that every day over like a sales job where you can make a lot of fucking money. You can make so much money in sales.
Yeah.
Or you could make nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And personally, I would
That's
rather just have a
scary.
steady income where I know exactly how much I'm making every week. That way I can plan for my future efficiently, because like with real estate or with sales, you know, you can say my goal is to sell, you know, 2 houses a month or whatever. But, you know, you can try as hard as you want. You may not sell 2 houses that month, and then you have
Yeah.
and all you have is, you know, like for me, I had like maybe 3-4 grand in the
Yeah.
bank or something like that. Like not much.
Like at the time or
Yeah.
now?
Like at the time.
Okay.
Maybe probably a little bit more, probably like 5 grand.
Yeah.
But I mean, I spent a lot of money like getting it, and then I don't know, it just kind of was not what I wanted to do, really. Like if I had done it when I started doing it, and like really, if I like dropped out and went all in,
Yeah.
I probably could have made a lot of money. But then if I dropped out and the real estate market goes to shit, which it kind of
Yeah.
looks like it is,
Yeah.
then I have no degree and I have nothing to fall back on. So I went the other route of getting the degree and kind of not doing real estate. So,
Yeah.
but I got kind of lucky and got a job. So, you know, it kind of worked out. Because if I didn't have the job, I probably would have kept doing real estate. But yeah.
Did you know the whole time, like while you were doing it, that this isn't really what you want to do? You were just kind of passing the time.
No, I really wanted to do it at the time because I wanted to be rich and make a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
And then I saw how much
Yeah, I
work
remember
it
that
was.
was one of your big things about why you were going into it.
I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people,
Yeah.
help me make money.
Yeah.
You know, and like I feel like if I had gone in there with more pure intention, everyone goes in there for the fucking money. They just say it's
Yeah.
because oh, I love helping people, or real estate's a
Yeah.
really big investment, and I just want to make sure people make educated decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what you say when you start taking your test, and then you see your coworker who paid $90,000
Yeah.
in taxes last year because of how much money they made, and you say,
Yeah.
"Wow, I want to make that much money."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, you just have to want to help people."
Yeah.
Man, you are not doing
You
this
have to
as a
be
fucking
really,
charity
really
service.
good salesman.
Exactly.
Which is why I feel like you'd make a good lawyer. It's a big part of being a lawyer, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like I worked at a logistics firm trying to do sales and
Yeah.
was not successful there. Wasn't successful with real estate, so I figure I'll probably lay on the back burner. Like those are also two things that I really knew nothing about, and like where I'm going with finance, hopefully in a couple of years I'll be able to open like a consulting business, something like that. But then I would still,
So what do you do? You do accounting, so you're mostly like a counter of money?
Nah, so I'm a credit analyst. So
Credit analyst.
say
I don't
Jason's
know why I thought accounting.
say Jason's podcast LLC wants to get a loan to get a studio or to get
Yeah.
a piece of equipment or whatever. You apply for a loan. I go in, look at your tax returns and stuff, see what money you have, where's it going, where's it coming from, how's it being used, that type of thing. Build a little cash flow for it, see if it if it works, if it doesn't work. I don't get to approve it, but I do the foundational stuff for the underwriters who actually approve it. It's a pretty good gig, I like it.
What do you like about it?
I get to work with numbers. My coworkers are pretty cool. We message on Teams a lot because we're remote. That's another.
It's all remote.
3 days a week or 3 days a week. It's
Out
like
of like 5, so
Mhm.
2 of them are not remote.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So one of my coworkers is he's here in Tennessee, but not my branch, and then 2 of mine are in Louisiana.
Okay.
My boss is elsewhere, so it's like I don't even see these people that I work with half the time, which makes it I got to meet them on a work trip recently, and that was really nice because these are people that I've spent the past few months working with, but I've never met them before, and now I get a chance to meet them, which that was pretty lit, as the kids say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly data entry. But it will provide is providing a very good foundational knowledge with which I can kind of go anywhere because I know how the backside works. I know what you're looking for, which will help me in most other aspects of finance, I believe.
And you want to do something with finance, you're sure?
So I got my degree in, so that's kind of what I know. I kind of went finance because it's the safe thing to do. Really, I'm just trying to make enough money to be
making profits.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make enough money to be comfortable. I don't need billions. I don't need millions.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2. I just want enough to be able to travel occasionally. Support my family, that type of stuff. But I don't need a 300-foot super yacht that has a helipad and a motorboat inside of it or anything. That'd be cool, but I don't need it.
But you think about starting a family too, at some point?
That is not currently on my horizon. I don't foresee that being on my horizon for probably a few years. But I mean,
you're thinking about the concept of it.
I don't know. It kind of depends on the way the world is looking. Because right now I don't know what there will be for them in 40, 50 years.
Yeah. Well, you never do.
Yeah, but I feel like every generation thinks that the next generation is going to ruin the world or that the world is ending or whatever, but feels a little more real now.
Yeah. Of course, that's what we would say, right?
Yeah, they've been saying this since ancient Greece at the very least, so we're just one more step in the chain.
Yeah. I do think that having kids is kind of the it's like a statement of optimism kind of about the future. That you're kind of saying whatever world that my kids grow up in will be worth living.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And I want to help with that
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, for some people, I would
Yeah.
say some people also just fucking.
Yeah, some people just don't think about it.
You know,
I'm
some people
sure.
just fucking.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I have a kid now. But like,
Yeah.
definitely for some people, it's like that. 'Cause I mean, ultimately, that is the purpose of life is to produce more life. So that's kind of,
Yeah.
in a way, like the greatest thing you can ever do.
Yeah.
But like, for me, like right now, especially, like, I don't understand how, back in the day, people were getting married at like 16, 17, having kids. That
Yeah.
just is mind
Yeah.
boggling to me. And like,
Yeah.
I'm sure if you grow up that way, because kids are a lot. I mean, in some regards, kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. So if
Yeah.
they're growing up in this kind of place, I'm sure they would accelerate and
So
be
especially
ready in
now,
some way.
in the digital age,
Yeah.
you have access to a lot of information that no other generation has.
Yeah. But now I feel like, I don't know, it seems like the process of growing up has been pushed back like a few years. Because it used to be like you're 18, like you're a man, you're a woman, or whatever. Like at 16, you're a man or a woman. But now, like, it feels like it's 18 or even later, honestly. Because,
Yeah.
like, you look, like, when I was 18, I thought I had everything figured out. But it's like you look at an
Yeah.
18-year-old and it's like,
Yeah.
you don't know shit. And I'm sure that's probably how it was back then, too, to an extent.
Yeah.
But
But now it feels like you can have less opportunity at 18 than you did, let's say, if you were 18 60, 70 years ago.
yeah. I mean, I feel like in a way we have more opportunity than anyone has ever had before, but also
Yeah.
I feel like it is so limited because there is such an abundance
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Kind of cancels something
that
out.
yeah, there is just
Yeah.
there is too much stuff out there for like any, one person or one specific group of people to get enough like attention on it, something like that.
Yeah.
Like especially like if you look at like Instagram and TikTok and stuff, like the amount of content that is being produced,
Yeah.
like by the second.
Yeah. Not to
You
mention
can-
all the dreams that a lot of people have now is like
Yeah,
I want to be
I want to
some
be
type
I want to
of
be an influencer.
content creator, quote unquote,
And,
whatever
like,
you want to call it.
There is like you combine that with stuff that's on YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, HBO. If you look at everything out there, like
It used to
like-
be just YouTube. I mean, that's what people said.
Yeah, like
10
there-
years ago.
Yep.
They were like, I want to be a YouTuber, but now it's much more vague. Like, I want to be a content creator, whatever that means.
and it's like,
I don't really like those words.
why so?
I think it takes away the value of what's really going on. Like, I guess technically, like by doing what I'm doing right now, like I am a content creator.
But this is
I
mostly
guess-
us just having a. It's not like
Yeah.
you're
I'm
not
adding
sitting here trying to go
content
viral
online.
or something.
Yeah, no,
you know.
definitely not. But I think it takes away the value of what you're really trying to do. And maybe I think some people are just trying to like literally go viral just so they can like make money doing it.
15 seconds of fame, make the quick buck.
Yeah, and I don't. I
That's
don't
definitely
like
why
to
a lot
think
of people
about
do
that
it
way.
because you go viral, you get that attention, and you get like a small, following from it. But
Yeah.
like from what I have seen, I think there might be studies to back this up. Don't quote me on that. Don't fact check me. But like if you look at engagement like per creator, like now compared to say 10 years ago, it has gone down so much,
Yeah, 'cause
especially
there's
with
so
all
many,
this
probably.
and with like all this short form content,
Yeah.
like with TikTok and Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever Facebook has, you're not really so much like looking for one specific creator. Like sure, you may follow people, but for the most part, you're just scrolling down whatever the algorithm gives
Yeah.
you. So like if the algorithm chooses to, if you get the same people, then you'll see the same stuff and become repeat fans. But like for the most part, you'll just see something one time.
Yeah.
And you're not actually engaging with the channel at all. You're just seeing that one video and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool, I like it, and then move on.
Yeah, it's hard to find new stuff, like to what you really. You just kind of have to hope that the algorithm knows you well enough to give you what you want.
Yep. It's kind of, yeah.
And normally it's something that's not really what you want, but you'll like watch it.
Yeah. I mean, the Instagram, like, shopping ads are very directly targeted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't use Instagram.
that's
I've heard that.
yeah.
before.
I mean, like, not so much anymore, but like a while ago, there was a period where like I would get on there, and just like every single ad, like I'm like, damn, like I should
really
buy
want
that.
this.
Like, damn, I
Yeah.
should get this. I'm like, wait, that's what they want me to do.
What kind of ads would you be getting?
Mostly just clothing. You know,
Are you a big clothing guy? Like you're specific about like what
I like
you
my
kind of
clothes.
like?
I like my clothes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like super particular with it. I have some
Yeah.
expensive clothes, some very cheap clothes.
Yeah.
You know, but like overall, for the most part, I just kind of wear what's comfortable, and then on like special occasions, you know, I'll wear something nicer. But I'm
but
not.
you see a like somewhat, probably not more than a lot of other people, but you see somewhat of like a status level of like the hierarchy of clothing, like brands and quality of material, whatever.
I mean, like, I like my expensive stuff. You know, I have a few like designer pieces,
yeah.
but like, you know, this shirt was free. These shorts are from H&M. Like
What does it say?
Oh,
It's just
it's just a flesh wound from Monty
oh,
Python.
oh,
It's
oh,
the Black Knight.
shit, nice, yeah, okay.
I was wondering
Oh,
if you
yeah.
would notice that.
I couldn't read the bottom, but yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Some of my
man.
favorite movies of all
That's
time.
pretty sick.
Yeah.
I kind of wore it because I was like, I knew that y'all liked this. So I was like,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
gonna-
I
you know.
appreciate you dressing up for me.
Oh, of course. You know, I had to pop out for the podcast.
Yeah. You said this is the first one you've ever done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done shrooms and had conversations with people where I was like, damn, like,
We could have recorded that.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably. I mean, like in reality, probably not.
Yeah.
Like after the protest here in 2020, there was like that curfew. My friend had some mushrooms. So
You say after like it was like the same day?
yeah, so there were like
Oh,
the
yeah.
protests, you know, after
Everything
like the
got,
George,
like, yeah,
the
the
BLM, George
curfew.
Floyd shit. Some of the protesters got tear gassed. We didn't because we walked a different way. But
Your sister was there, right?
no,
Wasn't she?
I was there, and I was at the ones in Murfreesboro. I don't think she was there though.
Oh, she was a nurse at the time. Too.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
talking about Katie.
Yeah,
obviously, for
but
anyone who doesn't know.
we there was a curfew that night, so we were all just like chilling at my friend's crib, and he was like, you know, I have some psychedelics here, so we took some mushrooms, took some kratom, and not much, you know, but we had a pretty good time. And
What's shrooms and kratom together like? Because I used to take a lot of
man,
kratom.
it was kind of intense because normally like 1 gram of shrooms, you just, you know, feel a little more in tune with yourself and with
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
But like with the kratom as well, like kratom kind of energizes you, almost kind of like
Yeah.
electrifies you.
It's got a weird thing of what it does. If you take
Yeah.
if you take a little bit, it does energize you. But if you take a lot, it's more of like a downer.
yeah. But I like it really intensified it for me.
Huh.
Like
People say that about weed and shrooms.
oh yeah, I would say weed like intensifies shrooms
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, like with the kratom, it was just a gram of shrooms, which is pretty small, and then like I don't know how much kratom we took, but like
Was it like a powder?
yeah. But I couldn't stop
in
laughing.
Capsulized form, or was it just like a bag of powder?
I can't remember what he got. I think it was a bag,
Yeah.
and then we just ate it from a spoon or something.
Oh.
yeah,
that's
it was
awful,
disgusting.
dude. It gets stuck in your mouth. It doesn't dissolve very well.
And it tastes like dirt.
It tastes disgusting.
It's not very good.
It's so
No.
gross.
But it made me feel very funny.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was pretty, you know, that was like, we were having some deep conversation talking about our traumas and shit. And
Yeah.
I just could not stop laughing the whole time. Like, someone would say
Talking
something.
about traumas.
Yeah, like someone would say something really, you know, kind of fucked up about their past. And I would just
Yeah.
over here, like, laugh. Because, like, we were all kind of laughing the whole time. And I couldn't really
Yeah.
distinguish between, like, ha 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 and
yeah.
from, like, crying,
Yeah.
you know.
Like the sounds of other people?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
all kind of sounded the same and
Yeah.
kind of scary almost, and
Yeah.
it was a fun time. But
I've never even thought about that combination. Did the kratom like last for the whole thing, do you think? I don't even would you even call it a trip because you only took a gram?
I would I would say so. At one point, so we were watching Midnight Gospel. Have you seen that?
I've seen part of it.
Yeah,
Duncan
so
Trussell, yeah.
we were watching this off of the shrooms and stuff, and
Yeah. That's the way I
Man,
want to watch it.
man, it was a very powerful show. Like
Yeah.
we were all very moved by it. You know, some of us were crying,
Wow.
whatnot. So it you know, it's this very deep show, and he covers a lot of deep
I was
topics.
just listening to his voice earlier today.
Yeah, great voice, especially for the type of
Yeah.
things he talks about.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I don't remember what happened, but one of our friends said something very silly, so we all started, you know, making jokes. And so they live on the
Yeah.
3rd floor, right? So I'm
Yeah.
sitting right here. There's a door to the balcony right here, and then there's some couches like right here where they're sitting. So I see my friend stand up after we make these jokes at him, and he like walks out to the balcony, and I look over off these shrooms and kratom, and I see his leg go up, and I was like, oh my fucking god, my friend just killed himself, and this is our fault.
Yeah.
And I was like, I screamed out his name. I was like, no. And then I like turned. I heard like a laughing, and I turned, and he's just standing there with this grin on his face, and everyone's kind of looking at me all weird. And I was like, oh fuck, I am.
So he was trying to trip you out?
I mean, I think he was just being, you know, trying to make a goof or a gaff, but like
Yeah.
the way everyone was looking at me was like, are you good?
Yeah.
Because like obviously he didn't do that, and I was like, I'm looking around, I'm like, oh man.
But all you saw was his leg go up for a second, and then you just didn't see him.
Yeah.
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 You said you were on the 3rd floor of an apartment.
Yeah. So it would have hurt, you know, if you
Yeah.
were to do that, and so, you know, me being the kind, caring person that I am.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't want my friend to fucking jump off the balcony.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he did not. You know, that would have been painful and hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Sure. Would you describe how many times have you done mushrooms, do you think?
Mushrooms, not that many, just like a couple.
Okay. Would you describe those experiences as like enlightening?
I mean, mostly it's just giving me like a greater connection with nature. I feel like my journey with psychedelics definitely helped calm me down and make me a lot more comfortable with me being who I am and kind of like the way that I interact with the world.
Yeah.
In a sense. It also, you know, they kind of played with my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like overall they definitely helped me kind of mellow out and realize that, you know, it's okay to be okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
You know, you are who you are, and you really just got to take life, you know, moment by moment. And that's probably like the biggest thing that I got from it. Like, is sometimes, you know, you'll be existing, having not the best time,
Yeah.
to be completely honest, and that is perfectly okay, because, you know, sadness and depression are not necessarily depression as much, but like sadness is a normal human emotion, and being able to experience it is a very important thing, because like there's this thing called your hedonic set point, which is essentially your baseline happiness.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you might be up here, you might be down here, but you're up here, you have like a good day, you know, you go up, you have like you're a lot happier, you have a bad day, you come down, but ultimately you kind of balance out to this point.
Yeah.
It's different for everybody, you know, some people have a very high hedonic set point. I feel like mine now is pretty high. Like most of the time I'm just, you know, I'm fine with who I am, I'm fine with what I'm doing, I'm fine with, you know, where I'm going, and I feel pretty good overall. You know, I have some bad days, I have some good days, but like overall I would say I'm pretty good, and I think psychedelics especially helped me get there, because, you know, it just makes you, for me, it helped me just get okay with slowing down and just kind of, you know, being still and being who I am.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for a long time I was kind of trying to almost like escape who I am, maybe.
Yeah.
Or it just felt like I was running away from something, and that kind of helped show me that, like, I don't know if this is a good thing. Maybe I should have gone to therapy or something. But it helped me realize that it's okay to just be me, you know, and just exist and not really focus so much on what I think other people think of me, because what you think of me, frankly, is not real. You know, I don't know what's in your head. So
Yeah.
if you say something, I could be like, oh, you know, that was personal. That was, you know, targeted at me. Or I can realize you're your own person with your own things going on. And most likely what you said is not directly intended to like hurt me or to get after me or something like that.
Do you ever think how like in a way there's only one you, right? Like there's only
Yeah.
one Seraphim Sherman, but
Yeah.
also there's
There's
however,
a million
there's
of
so
me.
many, yeah, like
Because everyone
your
like
version of me is different from my version of me. It's
Exactly.
different from anyone else's
Yeah.
version of me.
1000%.
It's kind of scary.
And that's
sometimes.
something that like when I was, you know, like 4 or 5 years ago when I was younger, that was something that fucking terrified me, because I was like, you know, I know who I am. I know what I think of me based on every interaction that I've ever had. But you have people who have an opinion on you based over, you know, 1 or 2 interactions. And like, you know, those may not be the best, or they may be the best, you know, who knows. But it's like, you know, no one except for you gets to see the whole picture, you know.
Yeah.
And that was something that like freshman year of college was really fucked with me, was how other people perceive me. And then I kind of learned that it doesn't really matter how you perceive me, because at the end of the day, you're your own person. I can't control your thoughts, you know. So why, if you think I'm a bad person or whatever, why does that affect? I mean, you know, obviously if you have a good basis for it, if, you know, I was out here killing people or something, I'd be like, okay, I get it,
Yeah.
you know. But like otherwise, you can have your own opinions, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I stand there. I don't know.
What So you kind of alluded to that you've had some darker moments in your past when it comes to, I don't know, it's just anything really, kind of like just finding your place in the world, kind of being comfortable with yourself. What has that been like? And I guess 2 different questions. What has that been like, and how have you kind of gotten yourself out of that? Like, what kind of advice would you give on that?
So, growing up, my main things were, you know, I was good at soccer, I was fast, I was smart. Those were kind of my
Yeah,
things,
you're kind
you
of the
know.
main reason why I even got into soccer in the first place.
And you know, then I got injured, and soccer wasn't really my thing anymore. I was still smart, you know, still good at school, and that was kind of always my thing. But you know, in elementary school, middle school, and high school, I'm not gonna say, you know, being smart is the most important thing, but being smart and being good in a school setting has a lot more impact on who you are and how you're perceived than when you get to college. Because when you get to college, you know, once you start getting out in the real world, how smart you are, how well you can do on a test doesn't fucking matter. What matters is your ability to actually get out and perform in whatever it is you're doing.
And do you think that, sorry to interrupt you, but do you think that matters because generally once you're in college, the only reason everyone around you is already kind of past that threshold of like you're already smart enough to get into college and to even care enough about this that you just are in college?
So what's the question there?
The original one?
No, what you just
like
did.
Do you think it doesn't matter as much in college because kind of everyone around you is,
I mean, it's kind of
is
like
with
that,
you,
but
like
it's
there's
like
not really that much of a
everyone
difference.
like more so than in high school, because in high
Yeah.
school you go to school, you come home, maybe
Everyone
maybe
goes
you
to
work.
school. Yeah, you kind of,
know,
you're forced
but
to go to school.
in college, you know, you have people from fucking every walk of life there. You know, you have people from the poorest places, the richest places. You know, people that have been out of school for like 30 years that are coming back. People that have just gotten out of the military. You know, whatever it may be, and like the teachers really don't give a fuck about what you do. You know, it's like you can turn your shit in or you don't, and that's not really my problem. Like you should turn it in, of course, but like at the end of the day, you're the one spending money on this, and it like it kind of shifts the responsibility from, oh, I'm a smart person, to like for me it was mostly just I showed up and I did what I was instructed to. Like, I didn't really feel smart in college. I just felt like I was doing the things that I was supposed to, you know?
Yeah.
This is some good water.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But for people who are trying to, I guess, figure out, where they're going, I mean, the way I look at life is nothing matters. So why not, make the most of what you have? If you're good at something, just fucking try. Like, it doesn't matter if the first time you do something, if you're good at it, if you're perfect, just fucking do anything, because trying and actually wanting to do something is probably the coolest thing you can ever fucking do.
Yeah.
Because if you're just like, oh, well, I won't be successful with that, so I'm not going to do it. That's lame as fuck. Like, you don't know that you're not going to be successful with it if you fucking try, if you actually commit to it.
Yeah.
If you, like, plus, if you try something and you fail at it, you can knock it off the list. Like, okay, well, I'm not good at this, so
Yeah.
I'm going to go down, I'm going to do something else. But it doesn't matter what you do as long as you do something. If you're not going to school but you're working, that's fine. If you're going to school for this degree and then you realize, like, school's not for me, I'm going to go be a welder, like, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, personally, I don't give a fuck if you go to college, if you don't go to college, if you go to trade school, community college. I think as long as you are doing anything, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be working or going to school, just like as long as you are trying to be, better in any way. If you're trying to, be happier, if you're trying to, get your mental health better, if you're working out, whatever it is, as long as you're doing something, that is what matters. Because at the end of the day, doing literally anything is better than doing nothing.
Yeah. Do you think college has lost some of its value over the last 50 years?
1,000%. It used to be a college degree. I don't know if it's college has necessarily lost its value or everything else has become too inflated,
Yeah.
Like, it used to be, you get a college degree and you're making really fucking good money. And now, because of how many people have college degrees, it's kind of like, you have a college degree, okay, and so does literally everyone else applying for this,
Yeah.
I feel like right now degrees, it's not really a measure of like, oh, this person's smart, they could do this. It's more just they could stay here for 3-4 years and do what we tell
Pass
them.
their classes,
Yeah, it's just a measure of obedience, in my opinion.
Obedience.
It's
yeah.
We
I
tell you
didn't
what
think
to
about
do
it
and
that
you
way.
do it, and you get the thing that says, okay, people tell me what to do and I do it.
Yeah.
Which companies are like, oh, this person does what they're told. That's that's a very important skill.
So you think the value has shifted more from kind of teaching you how to think and make your way in the world to just following rules better than someone who, let's say, just didn't go to college?
I mean, to an extent, like, obviously the things you learn in college are useful, but a lot of the times you learn all of this stuff in college and then you get into the real world, you start working and you realize that you did not need 3/4 of the shit that you learned, because ultimately I would say almost every single job can be taught, and sure, there's going to be a lot of like broader concepts that you may not know if you don't have the college degree and if you didn't go to school for this thing, but overall, you can teach someone that while they're working. They don't need to go to school for 4 years studying all of this miscellaneous stuff if they can just go to work and then learn on the job. With what I do, personally, I feel like I could have done this 4 years ago when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
It's
Did
not.
you go to college?
I graduated last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Got a finance degree with a minor in business administration.
Finance degree with a minor in business. Okay.
But
is that what you wanted to when you first went in?
I don't really know. I was going either computer science or finance. I did my capstone in high school over the economic importance of financial literacy in young adults, because financial literacy is a very important thing.
Financial literacy.
Financial literacy. Understanding how finance works, how money works, that type of stuff. Because most people don't understand how finance works, and they don't get taught it in high school. And if they do, they're probably not paying attention. So, when they get offered these crazy student loans when they're 17, or when they go get a car at a crazy interest rate because they don't know the fuck that means, or when they sign a 7-year car note because you're a 30-year-old person, you want this nice truck, so you're gonna get a 7-year car note, so you can only pay $300 a month, not realizing that you're gonna pay an extra 20 grand, in interest over the,
Oh.
and that type of stuff just kind of makes me sad, because I feel like a lot more people could have a lot more money than they do if they were financially literate. And I understand that, economic situations are not exactly the best right now. However, a lot of people spend money frivolously, and that is not to say that, if you enjoy something, you shouldn't spend your money on it. If something makes you happy, I think you should spend money on it. But also,
But you don't want to spend everything you have on it.
exactly, you have to understand that you have bills. As much as you have to live in the moment, yes, but you also have to realize that the future is real. It's just not real yet,
It's
and
also part of the moment.
yeah, in my what I am working to build myself a better future. Right now I feel like I'm doing pretty decent for myself, but I could be having a lot more fun, spending a lot more money, but I don't need to, because at some point in the future, I will need that money saved up or whatever. Sure, it doesn't exist right now, and I could use the money now, and sure, I'll still be working and I'll still be getting money, but there's no guarantee of that,
Yeah.
and you can't take anything for granted. You can, with, work, friendships, anything, you can't take it for granted. And so, while you have it, you have to make as much use of it, as you can. That's kind of where I stand there.
What you said that there's not as many people as maybe you'd like that are financially literate. What do you think are some things that people should know when it comes to spending money responsibly?
How interest works. So if you have a loan, you need to make sure that your payments are actually going to pay down your principal, especially with student loans, because a lot of the times what happens is, you're paying however much a month, and 90% of that is going towards interest, because
Yeah.
so what happens normally with loans is, interest is front loaded so that the lenders make their return quicker.
Yeah.
And then as you get further in the life of the loan, you're paying less in interest and more in principal. So as much as you want to, if you have a loan, you should overpay. That way if you have the means to, you're guaranteeing that you're actually paying down the principal. Because if you're just paying interest every month and you're never paying down principal, you're just going to keep making that payment over and over again.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people should not be getting student loans for certain degrees. I'm not going to say what degrees those are, but
Why not? You don't want to make enemies?
yeah, I mean, if
Or you
you're
just don't know
if you're
enough.
going into a degree where you're not going to get a good return on investment, I don't think you should get a loan for that. However, I also don't think the loan companies should be giving 17-year-olds the amount of money they get with student loans.
Yeah.
Personally,
Do you think college is too expensive?
I think it is, and I think there's a lot of bloat because of the student loan economy. Student loans account for, I believe, oh man, it's been a few years. Either as of 2019, when I did this research, it was either 8% of the economy or 13%. I don't remember what the exact stat is, but it is a
Should I look
large. What percent of the economy of GDP is student loans? I'm pretty sure it accounts for about 8.3%. Last I checked.
7.3 as of 2020. That's a lot.
So 7.3 trillion or percent.
7.3%.
So 7.3% of what, like $15 trillion, something like that. I think the figure is like $2 to $3 trillion in student loans, something like that, right?
23 trillion is the GDP. So
1% of that is, I don't know.
let's see. 23.3 times 0.07. It's about 1.67 trillion.
1.6 trillion, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gone down since
And
I did my research project.
I think it's about 1.2, maybe 1.3 that is federal, and the rest of it's private.
Yep. I mean, personally, I believe education is very important. I would say college should be free. I think education is a human right, honestly.
Yeah.
Education, food, shelter, etc. Water.
Which everyone agrees to that on a certain level, obviously, right? Because high school is, or just K through 12 is required and it's free.
Yep.
So, we're just not.
But then, people are like,
To
oh,
some level.
college, why should my money be going towards someone's college? And it's like,
Yeah.
because what people don't realize is that a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So
Yeah.
if you have money that is going towards education, towards healthcare, what you do is bring the lowest common denominator up, right? If you bring the floor higher, the ceiling gets higher because people have
Yeah.
more access. Like if you are a person who your whole life you have had no money, maybe you've been homeless, you can't pay your bills, something like that. If you have enough money to pay your bills, if you have enough money to get food and not be hungry, and then go out and spend money, the economy would do a lot better because you have these people who right now can't contribute anything except for, like the occasional purchase because they lack resources. But if those people have enough resources to go out and make something and make money and actually spend it in the economy, it will help us out,
Yeah, so you think some people can't make the connection as to why it's important to pay for other people's education. Like, it is part of the community. And it is
definitely,
beneficial
because
to you and society.
there is a very big mentality of fuck, like I got mine, fuck you,
Yeah.
in America. And personally, like, there has been there for human history to an extent, but like, Homo sapiens, Neanderthals did not make it out of the fucking Mesolithic era by murdering every single person, they saw, by not working together.
Yeah.
Humanity did not come about as a result of several people working and getting a large majority of the benefit of the value of that working. It came together from people working together to build villages, to get enough food to feed everybody there, to have enough, clothing so that everyone can survive, to have enough food, to have enough water, to have enough shelter.
Yeah.
Because, back then things were not, houses were not commodified. Shelter was not commodified. Shelter was just a thing that we needed, and that, if you have somebody in your tribe, in your village with no house, like, they're not going to fucking do well and they're going to die, and that is not something you want when you have, 25 to 50 people in your village and every person counts,
So education is.
I feel like it is beneficial to have to have an educated populace in general,
Yeah,
because
I
educated
agree.
people everyone can be manipulated, but educated people are slightly harder to be manipulated, and it is a lot more difficult to be controlled if you can look at things that are going on and be like, okay, this is happening, but why is it happening? And see kind of the deeper level and see what's actually going on, instead of just like, oh, this thing is happening.
Yeah. I agree with that, but I don't think that college degrees are defining as to how educated a person is. At least in today's age, I don't think. I don't think they go hand in hand almost at all.
I would agree.
I know a lot of people that did not go to college that are way more educated and think on their own way more than people that went to college.
I definitely agree with that, but like, if you have a college degree, it signifies that you can go and pursue something and like sit down and understand at least a part of it. Like, you're not going to get a degree if you don't understand what you're working at. Like, you can pass the homework, you might be able to pass the test, but like, ultimately, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get the degree because you're going to end up failing,
Yeah.
But there are definitely people that don't have degrees that are smarter than people that do have degrees. There's people that do have degrees that are smarter than people who don't. It's just kind of, I feel like it depends more on the person, because you can have, like, say someone might not have a bit of money, but you can be really fucking smart without money. And if you don't go to college, because you don't have money or whatever, but you go out and you study and, you learn, like, you can get really fucking smart,
Yeah.
like 1,000%.
Yeah.
But companies will look at you and automatically, kind of count you out because you don't have that degree,
Yeah.
which sucks, but just the way it is right now, honestly.
Yeah. Do you think it's ever going to change? Because I could see it changing just based on how college is viewed right now.
I mean, I can see it. I feel like the world will look very different in like 20 to 30 years work-wise, I hope, with all of the technological changes that are going on. So, I don't know. I hope that in the future there is less menial work and more people can engage in like creative activities. But can I run to the bathroom real quick?
Sure, bro. Yeah, we'll pause real quick.
Quiet on Spotify.
Okay, we're back. Yes, everyone listen to Bury You on Spotify right
Out now on all platforms.
I remember whenever that came out, I was podcasting at the time, and I was like, "Everyone, go stream the song."
It's a pretty good song, honestly. Anytime it comes on, I send it to Joe because I'm like, hell yeah, this is fire.
You send him his own song.
Oh hell yeah! I'm like, yeah, look what came on.
I don't even remember what we were talking about before, but what was I gonna ask you? Oh yeah. I mean, this is, I guess, kind of a personal question, but I'm wondering, since you're almost 22 now, what's your relationship with your parents kind of like evolved into?
I mean, we don't really like talk too much. I work with my mom.
You work with her?
Yeah, we work at the same company, but like different departments. I don't know. I feel like it's fine. We don't really talk too much, but I pretty much just go to work and then go hang out with my girlfriend or with my friends. Like, I'm not really, like, I live at home, but I'm not really home much, like,
yeah, you
at
more
all.
sleep there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sleep there? You sleep with your girlfriend, like at the?
Nah. Most of the time I sleep at home.
Yeah.
I like my bed.
Yeah.
It's
And the way you described it, there's a lot of people there, so it's probably not.
Yeah, I mean, she has some roommates, but mostly I just like having my own bed and waking up at my house where I have everything that
Yeah.
I have breakfast, I have everything I need, I have my clothes, my stuff for work.
Yeah.
It's easier than packing a bag every night and staying, which, I mean, like in the winter I did a lot because we worked out at 6 a.m, so it was just easier to like stay there and then.
Who's we?
Me and my girlfriend.
Oh, you guys work out together?
Yeah, we'd work out very early in the morning.
Is she a fitness? Is she into that?
I mean, she works out, We've both kind of stopped going.
You can adjust that too if you want. You're number 2.
Oh, no, I was just trying to make it not pull so hard right here. But, I mean, I wouldn't say she's like super into fitness, but we work out a lot. Or we used to work out a lot. We kind of have stopped as much. I've been going like probably only like twice a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's normally how it goes. Like, I'll work out a lot during the winter, and then summer hits, and I start doing shit outside. And I'm like, I don't care quite as much about, working out, going to the gym. I'd rather just go outside, play some tennis or soccer or,
you like tennis too?
Bro, I love tennis.
That's a very
tennis is my sport.
High intense sport.
No, honestly, it's not easy, but
you're moving the whole time though. I guess
not compared to soccer.
Yeah.
Nah, so I would go out, bro. We could play tennis for like 3-4 hours, and I'm like, I feel I could keep going, But my first soccer game, man, I was like, okay, I can play tennis, 2-3 times a week, like for 3 hours, and I'm perfectly fine. So I'll be fine to play a 90-minute soccer game. Not even close, man, because yeah, you run a lot during tennis, but you also just fucking stand there.
Yeah.
A lot. And I was not really standing there at all in the soccer game. So like, man, it did not prepare me well at all. I was very overconfident in my abilities to run when I came back to soccer, and then I was running for 30 minutes and I was like,
yeah, the lungs aren't the same as they used to be.
Yeah, not at all. I got fucking.
That was before.
I try and work on them,
That was before the vaping and the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Do you just vape?
Nah,
you don't even vape anymore.
I don't vape anymore. I haven't vaped in over probably a year and 3-4 months or so.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll hit a cigarette maybe like once a year, twice a year if I'm really drunk.
Yeah.
I hit a cigar a couple weeks ago. Oh, well, we smoked a cigar, like a few of us, and I was almost threw up though. I will not be doing that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like even when I was doing all that, like I was still like walking a lot and exercising. So like I was never really like I figured it would probably impact my lungs, but not not too bad.
Cigars.
It's vapes in general,
Yeah.
because yeah, I mean you never know what chemical, you never know what's really in there.
Yeah.
So like I would like wake up and I'd feel this sharp pain in my chest and I'd be like, oh, what is this?
And that's gone away since you
Oh
stopped?
yeah, like I haven't.
Really?
Yeah, like I used to wake up or just like during the day, semi often. Not every day, not every week, but often enough to where I noticed it.
Yeah.
I would be doing something and then I would just feel like I would feel like a kind of stabbing pain like right here.
Like in your sternum?
Yeah, I actually went to the doctor to get it checked out, and he said it was probably just anxiety.
Yeah.
Which it probably was, because, vaping, it helps with anxiety initially, and then it is
While you're doing it.
when you start doing it, it helps,
Yeah.
and then when you get addicted to it, you are like, I would hit, my puff or whatever, and then I would set it down, and immediate, like 20 minutes later, I feel my blood pressure start building. I'm like, fuck, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah.
And then you can't find it, and you get stressed out, and you're like, oh, fuck. It's like, It's like, damn, like, all this over, like, and I would trip, and I would think to myself, like, why am I looking to these chemicals to please me and to make me happy when I can just find that within myself?
Yeah.
And
hopefully.
that was really what, like, the first time I quit for, it was like 3 to 4 months, which isn't that long, but I hadn't been vaping. I'd only been vaping for like a year consistently at this point. And I quit for like 3 months, and then I started vaping again. And then when I stopped again, I didn't hit it for like a year. And then every time I've hit it since then, it's been like, 4 or 5 times. It's just like, I hit it, I'm like, why the fuck was I, like, why did I ever do this?
Yeah. Kind of makes you sick.
Yeah, like I'll hit it, and I'll try and take like a fat hit, like I used to, just go.
Yeah, I remember.
And I do that, I'm like, oh, like not throwing up, but just not really doing the best.
Yeah.
But
You can if that's not stable, you on the bottom there. No, not right
oh,
there.
right here, there we go.
Oh, is that?
I was just trying to make it comfortable so I can just like sit up and talk,
Yeah.
instead of having to.
So overall, you feel better after quitting nicotine?
Oh, 10 billion%. Like so much less. I feel like I can handle stress, and I feel like I can just handle living a lot more, because like when I would vape, I would, there'd be something stressful or whatever, and I would just immediately go hit, my nick and get that. Most of the time I wouldn't even get a buzz, but I would get that hit of nicotine, and my body would be like, okay, you're fine for right now.
Yeah, it becomes more of a placebo.
Oh, 1,000. Like, you don't even, like, anytime I've hit it now, I get buzzed. And I'm like, this is why I got addicted, but also, like, really? Like, this feeling is why I got addicted. Like, it's not even that good.
Yeah.
It lasts for, like, 10 seconds. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Kind of makes
it's so
me
silly. I'm really glad that I, like, that I quit, like, no, I'm just kidding. The longest I ever quit for was, I'd say, I think I quit for about 3-4 months, about a year ago. And I felt a lot better.
I mean, personally, I very heavily advocate, like, if you want to smoke weed, cool. I don't give a fuck. But, like, I am a strong advocate. I mean, but also, like, if you smoke weed, don't fucking smoke weed all day. Like, don't smoke before work, smoke at work, smoke after work, smoke before you go hang out. Like, just, keep it to whenever you're done with your responsibilities, whatever you're done with whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
And, like, you're fine. Same thing with drinking. Like, don't drink before work, don't drink at work. But, like, if you want to have a drink after work, go for it, With vaping, like if you are the one person that can actually control how much nicotine because out of all of the drugs that I've done, nicotine is the fucking hardest to quit, and it is the least rewarding
That's true.
to like
Wow.
be high on,
Yeah.
because you hit nicotine and if you feel it, you feel the buzz for maybe 10 seconds, and you're kind of like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
You smoke weed and you're
After you
high
finish
for
that
a
nice,
while.
it's done.
You take an edible, you're high for a while. You do acid or shrooms or something, you're high. But with nicotine, it's just like, okay,
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons why it's so addictive, because of how fleeting it is.
Yeah, and it's so easy to, because you can hit it and it's like, this doesn't do anything to me. And
Yeah.
especially like now, the flavors are pretty tasty. It tastes nice,
Yeah.
So you're getting like a nice bit of flavor. Plus, like also, like for me, a big part of it was just like the hitting something.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
that was one of the hard things for me to get over. It wasn't like I was craving the nicotine. I mean, I was, deep down. Like it was, had just become so used to this motion that like when I quit, I would literally like I would be working on homework or something, So I'm sitting there at my computer typing. I'm like, I need some Nick, and I would literally just take my palm and go.
Yeah.
And I would feel buzzed.
Really?
Because
Wow.
I mean it's partially the placebo, but it's also like part of it is also like, in my opinion, breath work and breathing is a phenomenal thing. And like if you breathe, I'm gonna sound like a fucking hippie, but if you breathe and do breathing exercises, I believe if you have ADHD, like I don't think you need Adderall, I don't think you need Ritalin or Vyvanse. If you do breathing exercises and try and do something for like mindfulness, like I've never been diagnosed as autistic or as ADHD or anything. Realistically, we both know there's probably a high chance that I am one of those,
What was the second one?
either autistic or ADHD.
Autistic. Okay.
There is a high chance that I'm one of those. I've never been diagnosed.
I think almost everyone nowadays has some sort of learning disorder.
But it's like if you just
attentiveness.
like, I stretch in the mornings, I stretch at night, and I don't I don't really necessarily like sit down, do Om and like meditate, but I use that time as a way for me to just be kind of like with myself, and not I spend a lot of time. I used to spend a lot of time on TikTok, deleted TikTok, and then now I've wasted a lot of time on Instagram, and I probably need to delete Instagram as well. But like doing that has helped me kind of just really just kind of like slow down and be like, I don't like, because with like nicotine, if you tell yourself no once, like if you're sitting there, you're like, man, I really need some nicotine. If you're like, actually, I don't need this right now.
Yeah.
If you can just do it that first time, it becomes a lot easier to not do it afterwards.
Yeah.
But like,
if you're determined just really for that first time.
yeah, because I mean, look, I quit Nick. Like I was really good at quitting Nick. I quit probably 20 times.
Yeah.
I
I think I've quit like 5.
it wasn't until I was like, okay, like
I'm serious.
I am done. Like
Yeah.
I have said I was done before, and I've said that it will be different before, but there was something about this time where I was like I am done. I don't want to do this anymore. Like I don't get anything from it. There's no reason for me to do it. And I was at work, and I threw my views away, and I did not hit it after that day for over a year. Like I would ask you like, hey, can I hold your vape? And if I would hold it right here,
Yeah.
as kind of a test to myself, because in my mind, if I can have a vape, if I can hold a vape
Yeah.
in my mouth and not hit it, and resist the temptations, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
Then I can understand that when I get this urge to hit it, that I don't actually want to hit it, and it's just kind of like, the lizard part of my brain talking. So like there was a long period after I stopped where I would ask to hold my friend's vapes because I would just hold it
Yeah.
and let the feeling of I want to hit this and get this nicotine, and then not allow myself to satisfy that craving.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was it was hard to do, but like also it was kind of very easy because like it's easier to not hit it than it is to hit it, because to not hit it you just hold it there, and to hit it you have to suck in. On like from the very literal perspective, but like it takes a lot of resistance to hold it there and not fall, because I would have it and I'd be like, I just have to go like this,
Yeah. It's so easy.
just the smallest hit and I'll get something from it. But if you don't do it, if you tell yourself no and if you follow through, you'll be fine.
I remember. That makes me think of it wasn't the last time I quit. I think it was the second to last time that I quit, and I think I was off it for it was close to a month, I think, and I was
Off of nicotine
off
for a month.
nicotine, yeah, and I was about to go on a trip to Iceland. I didn't end up going. It was
Mhm.
complicated. It was mostly COVID complications
Yeah.
and shit. Traveling to other
Classic.
countries, yeah.
Fucked everything up.
Yeah, really. And and I remember I was at my brother's apartment for I can't remember what I
At
was
Jesse's.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I was doing there. I think he might have had a couple things that I wanted, maybe. I
Yeah.
was just going to take from his place. But I wanted to say bye to him. So I remember I was waiting for him to get back from work or something. And,
Is he still working at the same place?
no, he's working at Amazon now. He delivers, he drives the Amazon van.
That's real. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And, so I remember the last time I'd hit a vape too it was at his place probably a week or two before, but I
Yeah.
still wasn't vaping that much.
Yeah.
Like that was the last time I'd hit it.
Uh-huh.
And I really hadn't thought about it even much since then. But when I was at his place, I went into his room and I saw his vape sitting there. And I remember I went onto I grabbed it and I went onto his balcony. And I just held it pretty much the whole time. I was like making a playlist on my phone.
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of songs to listen to and stuff. And the whole time I was holding it in my hand. There was a couple times where I really like put it in front of my mouth.
Yeah.
And held it there. And I did not hit it the whole time. And I remember I felt really, really proud of myself.
It's
when I
man,
left.
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's so unassuming, but man, if like it takes a lot. It's a bastard.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I want to quit it someday.
I believe in you. If you like, you have to want to quit to be able to, because most of the 2 times where I did quit for an extended period of time, I really wanted to quit. And then like the first time when I stopped, I was just like, I'm still young, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not going to be addicted forever. And
Yeah,
then
I don't have to stop right now.
when I was about to graduate college, I was like, look, do I really want to be, 30, 40 years old still, hitting vapes and shit? I was like,
Yeah.
no offense if you do, but personally, I was like, I'm fine smoking weed. I feel like,
Yeah.
which is weird because like a lot of people would probably argue that weed is more damaging than nicotine, but
I disagree.
I think
nicotine is way more damaging.
yeah, like weed is just weed. It definitely there are downsides. I'm not a person that's like, oh, weed has no negatives and every single person needs to smoke weed and then the world would be better. I don't think that is the case. I think there are a lot of people for whom marijuana is not beneficial, and I would say it's even harmful.
Yeah.
But I think if I would say alcohol is a lot better, or I mean, weed is a lot better than alcohol. I would rather have a populace
think
smoking
so.
weed overall than a populace drinking alcohol.
Yeah, I think that'd be better too.
Because I mean, if you look at any study, alcohol is the most dangerous drug, like by
Yeah.
far. It's partially because, it's a lot easier to get alcohol than it is for someone to go get coke or meth or whatever. Because coke and meth are also very dangerous, but like anyone, even people that are underage or people that shouldn't are able to go, buy alcohol or get people to buy alcohol for them.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to do, and it's also very easy to abuse because, like, if you're someone that does like Percocet, for example, like most of the time, you probably have a prescription for it, so you can only get a certain amount, or you're buying it, legally through somebody, and you may not have a consistent supply. Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
But like, it's a lot more difficult to get that than it is for Joe Blow to go down to his favorite corner store and get him,
Yeah.
12-pack or whatever, drink it, and do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot more danger there because of how accessible it is, and like
accessible and convenient. How do you feel about there's a lot of people advocating for like the legality of pretty much all drugs. Or there's some people legality, there's some people with decriminalization, which are not.
I mean, personally, I'm like, if you look at like say Portugal or the Netherlands, they have mostly decriminalized drugs.
Yeah.
Most drugs, so that say you're addicted to heroin, instead of going to Franco down the street for your heroin, you go to a doctor, you get a clean needle, you get the amount of heroin that you need, and you're not funding an illegal drug trade. B, you are getting clean supplies with which to do it, and C, like, even if you're not necessarily taking advantage of the doctor being like, hey, probably shouldn't be doing these things, like, you are still getting some of that knowledge of, like, okay, like, I'm doing this stuff right now, but also, like if you're going to the doctor, if you're going to like, our rehab facilities are pretty much just designed to make money, but, like, if you go to one there, like, you're addicted to heroin, they give you enough so that you don't fucking die from withdrawals, but, like...
Yeah, to wean you off, I guess?
I mean, kind of to wean you off, but, like, if you can get it clean, it is a lot safer than, someone going to a clinic to get heroin is a lot safer than someone going on the black market to get it, because at least if you're getting it through the doctor, you know that it's safe, you know that it's not cut with anything. If you don't treat it as a crime, people are less likely to... There will be a lower recidivism rate, which is where the rate that people are reincarcerated or go back to jail for the same crimes that they commit. So when you have people treating drug use as a crime, as a problem to be fixed instead of like a problem to be helped, kind of. I guess those are kind of the same thing, but like, if you have someone looking at this person's like crack addiction, and they look at them and they're like, okay, this person is a crack addict, they need to go to jail because they're a criminal, that person is probably not going to do too well, and when they get out of jail, they're probably going to do the same thing, right?
Go back to crack,
but if you have a clean way for someone to get it, where they have resources to get better, there is a lower likelihood that they will become, re-addicted to crack, and that, they'll be out here committing crimes or, whatever, because they're a crack addict and they want to get money, or because they're a dope fiend and they need their dope, or, that kind of thing. Do I think that coke should be legal? Do I think that meth should be legal? Do I think that acid or, Molly or whatever should be legal? Like, I mean, I cannot say for certain, but I definitely think that decriminalization is better than what we have now, because, like, in my opinion, you have a few ounces of weed, you have, some coke, some Molly, or, honestly, even some meth. Like, if that is what you want to do, as long as you aren't hurting anybody, which, I mean, there is a high likelihood that with alcohol or coke or meth or anything like that, that you might hurt somebody. But as long as you're not hurting anybody, I mean, do you, like, ultimately, you know, you have free will and you can choose to do these drugs if you want.
Yeah.
But I think there should be more avenues for people that have issues with them to get help, rather than them being
Just
looked at
locking them up.
as criminals. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
That it just it makes a lot more sense in my mind than looking at this someone that obviously has a problem, because most of the time the problem is not just the drug, it is, you know, it's the situations leading up to it, it's their surroundings, their environment, that type of thing. So
Just how they feel about themselves.
yeah, so most of the time the drug is just kind of an easy way to, like, escape from that, to cope with it, to make it easier. And that's another, like, if you if you increase education, if you invest in communities, I would be willing to bet money that you would see a lower amount of drug use. I mean, certain drugs, you know, maybe Adderall or something, people would use more, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I've never done Adderall because I've always been kind of scared. I mean, really, no uppers. I've never done any of
it's
them.
kind of like, I don't know. It, for me, I just kind of felt normal when I took it. Like, I didn't, you know, I've heard people say that it's like the same as Coke, or like it makes you super focused and, like, you know, really up and ready to go. But I just kind of felt like I could talk to people and not, you know, be, not kind of have like the normal kind of like self-doubt that I have.
Okay.
Maybe something like,
So it made you a little more confident.
yeah, yeah. And I just kind of felt more like, you know, I wasn't really like second guessing kind of what I was saying and like what I was doing, that type of thing. I was just like, you know, like I was just talking and being like, you know, these are my friends, these are people that I enjoy, instead of me being like, all these people hate me.
Yeah.
They don't like me. They just hang out with me because, you know, they're playing a joke on me or whatever.
How about you feel like you nailed it the first time, that you didn't have to go back and like try to redo it, and like you thought that in the first, like in the conversation or whatever you're talking about, that you were doing pretty good.
Oh, I felt amazing. I was also drinking.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so it was like I was drinking, but I took these. I don't even know how much it was, but it was, you know, just one Adderall, because I've always been kind of scared to take it, because, you know, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna take it and feel like really fucking up, you know, or if I'm just gonna take it and be like, oh, this is what it's like to be, you know, a regular functioning human being.
Yeah.
So I was kind of scared to take it for a while because of that, but I mean, I was drinking, so I was like, oh, you know, we'll see kind of how it goes. And
Yeah.
I mean, it made me feel like just able. I mean, it was also probably a mixture of the alcohol, you know, but I just felt able to like converse with people and like talk to strangers and shit, which might be kind of like weird, but like, I don't know. It just seemed easier than normal to interact with the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been scared that if I ever took it, that the that I like it. Not even that I like it so much, because I've really never seen myself liking any form of uppers. Really, maybe that's just because I feel like my brain already works super fast and not generally in a good way.
Yeah,
That I
it's
don't
just
really
kind
need
of
that.
very active.
Yeah, but I've always worried that I did almost buy some one time, maybe like 6 months ago. But yeah, I got scared of the thought that I would take it and then the reality would change for me so much.
That you needed it.
Not even that that I needed it, but that everything past that, when it would wear off, everything would feel boring.
Man,
And
that's
that
some real
feeling would
shit,
never
man.
go away.
Yeah,
So
no.
I was like, I don't want to mess with that.
That's honestly, that is a very important realization, because I feel like that is why a lot of people kind of get sucked into drugs, is because they take like with acid, you take it, you have these crazy realizations, crazy thoughts, crazy visuals, whatever, and then after all of this, after this eternity, you come back to the regular world.
Yeah.
And after, the past 12 hours of whatever the fuck you just experienced, it can be very like, oh, this is all there is, this is.
Yeah.
And I feel like for a lot of people, it either goes there or they kind of end up the opposite. Like, oh, this is all like, this is what there is. Like, nature is beautiful. The earth is beautiful. I love everything. And then you have the people that are like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. We're fucked. And
which side were you more on for that one?
Man, kind of both. I'm like, this is beautiful, but also like, we're fucked. And that's kind of still how I am. The earth is beautiful. We're killing it we're not killing it. We're killing ourselves. Which sucks because personally I enjoy living. I like life. I think it's pretty cool getting to enjoy all of the things that like the earth has for us. It's nature, work to an extent, the people, the animals. Like I love all of that, but I also look at it, I'm like, we're kind of gonna kill ourselves with how it's going. And that to me is kind of scary, but also I'm like, I'm here for the time being. I don't know what's going to happen 1,000 years from now, 500 years from now, even 100 years from now. Obviously I hope that it will get better and that it will be more promising, but at the same time, I mean, you never really know. Like, we can work and try and make tomorrow better, but we can work and try and make tomorrow better for so long, and then someone comes in and fucks up, and tomorrow looks a lot worse all of a sudden.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you were kind of alluding to it a little bit and kind of talking about, but do you worry like about the future? Or you seem pretty optimistic.
I mean, I try not to worry. I mean, I'm hopeful. Humanity will survive in one way or another. I mean, after an explosion, a volcanic eruption like 10,000 years ago, we were reduced to, I think, literally like 1%.
Yeah, like a couple thousand people, right?
Yeah, of the population. So I mean, humanity will survive. To quote Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum's character in Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
Yeah.
And personally, I would like to be there to see it, or I would like my descendants to be there to see it. And I don't think that a pessimistic attitude of like, oh, there's nothing that can be done, because man, it kind of does seem like there's nothing that can be done sometimes.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
especially on an individual level.
Yeah, and companies try and shift the blame to the individuals, and it's like one company produces more pollutants than like 100 million people. Like how, maybe, that might be a bit of an exaggeration, but it's like, how can the individual be expected to change anything, where if you get like 100 million people all changing their consumption patterns, what they do, it still doesn't even make a fucking dent.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a little disheartening, but like also I feel like especially surrounding like climate change and stuff like that, I feel like overly negative media is very bad, because if you're sitting here telling people, oh, well,
the world's gonna end,
Earth's gonna be uninhabitable and there's nothing we can do, then people are gonna be like, well, there's nothing we can do. But if you're like, this is a problem that needs to get fucking solved, and it needs to get solved quick, it is easier for people to see that and want to work to solve something than if they're told there's no hope.
Yeah, I'd say that's more the problem when it comes to the media framing of this, that there's almost never an upside. It's really
because
it's just negative, like
bad news sells.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to be like, oh, 4 people were shot and killed in this suburb today, than, oh, hey, like, I don't know, this good thing happened.
Yeah.
This guy rescued 4 polar bears.
Yeah, or what about like 99.9% of all other suburbs were totally fine today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. If you look at, I mean, like crime rates are falling and stuff, but we are kind of making the earth boil a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed, but this summer has been
lots of fires and stuff.
abnormally hot. The two hottest
It was
days
the
on
same thing
record.
last summer.
Yeah, last summer was the hottest summer, and now this summer is
Yeah.
also the hottest summer.
I wonder what next summer.
And
will
but
be like.
on a good note, this is the coldest summer yet.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
both.
so.
Yeah.
But like our summers are getting hotter, our winters are getting colder. In anecdotal experience here in Tennessee, I've noticed the season shifted back about 4 weeks because we got our April showers in about early June.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
April was very dry, May was pretty dry, and then it fucking rained for like
A
2
lot.
weeks straight.
Yeah.
Finally, we got crazy snow this year, which we normally don't get. We got crazy snow last year. We got crazy snow in 2018.
Yeah.
The last time we got crazy snow before 2018 was like 2012, 10, maybe at the earliest.
Yeah.
And now we're getting it like every year. You have wildfires all over the country, bigger than they have been. You know, in Canada, like 25 million acres have burned. Last year, I think about, a fifth of Australia burned in wildfires, something like
Mhm.
that. Monsoons, hurricanes are getting stronger. Like, droughts are lasting longer. I feel like there is a pretty fucking clear sign that the earth is telling us that we need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, but I mean, even on all those things, I generally, and maybe it's because I'm optimistic on this level, but I think that technology could solve almost any of these things. Like we will have stronger structures to survive hurricanes and monsoons and whatever. No, I think your mic turned off.
No, can you? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you would think that, but so if I can build these 100 buildings with a good material for, we'll just throw out a random figure for $1 million, or I can make them with a cheaper material for, say, $250,000 instead of $1 million. Which one am I gonna go with? Am I gonna go with the one that's gonna last a lot longer? Or am I going to go with the one that's cheaper because I'm going to build these houses and then sell them, and then it's not my problem anymore?
Yeah, I mean,
Am I
it
gonna build-
depends on the person.
I mean,
The
but
hope is that you choose the first one.
but the way
Right.
that our society is structured, it does not incentivize long-term solutions, because I can either get money off of you. I can get money off of you when you buy my building, and my building lasts you for a very long time. Or I can make money off of you when you buy my building, and then when something cracks because of some issue, and then I charge you to fix it.
Yeah.
And then something else happens, and I charge you to fix that. Or, I can cure your cancer now, or I can charge you for the next 4 years and make a fuck ton of money off of you. Or, I can give you this phone, but I'm gonna make it have some issues so that you
Yeah.
have to come to, and I'm also not gonna let you repair it anywhere else. So you have to come to our store and put more money in our pockets. So the profit incentive is really, I would say, the most damaging thing for our country, because
Yeah.
when everyone is focused on profit and making as much money as they can, there is a lot less of a focus on kind of bringing everyone up and just making things better. Because if everyone is focused on making as much money as they can for themselves, instead of like creating a community that has wealth and that knows, what to do with their money, like I feel like that is a lot. It is, in my opinion, if the options are, we have one guy with $1 billion or 10 people with $100 million, I would rather 10 people with $100 million, or 1,000 people with,
Yeah.
100 with $1 million, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Mm.
But obviously it doesn't work that way, because everyone wants to consolidate and to have as much wealth as they can, because that's
Yeah.
that's how we grow up. That's how we're raised.
Yeah. And I don't know. You'd think that if you personally if you were faced with that decision of spending $1 million on a stable structure that would outlive you, theoretically, and that's what you'd want to do because you would care, because you would have the responsibility of having that much money to be like
See, you
to
would
want to build the
like
best for humanity that you can.
you would think that, but people just want to make money. It doesn't like
Yeah.
so. If you look at Turkey, for example, there was recently a earthquake that was very damaging.
Yeah.
We have technology that exists that, obviously buildings aren't 1000% earthquake resistant or earthquake proof. However, if you have dampeners and if you build them properly and with the proper material, they'll resist, they'll be a lot less damaged in an earthquake. But like what happened in Turkey is people wanted money, so the developers took money for the construction projects, and then instead of building them properly, they just kind of built them however the fuck they wanted, cheap as they can, and then earthquake comes in and bye city blocks.
But do you think on some level that even mattered? Because, do you think if they spent a little more money to make a better structure, do you think the earthquake just would have?
Yeah, I mean, if you
still would have, feel like the earthquake still would have wiped it all out.
No, so if you look at like say San Francisco, or like a lot of cities that lie on fault lines, they have invested in the technology and in infrastructure to be earthquake resistant, because it is a lot fucking cheaper to do it right the first time than do it wrong, and then an earthquake happens and you have tens of $billions in damages and you have to rebuild it all, But if you had just invested $5 billion initially and done everything correctly, then you wouldn't have to worry about it as much. But
then in that scenario, the profit incentive is technically to make a better structure, but maybe if you're not able to
because if the house gets destroyed, you can make another house and you get more money.
Yeah, you get more money for the next house.
I
guess that's
like
true.
There are still Roman structures standing that have survived out like 2,000 years of earthquakes and stuff, and you look at our highways and they last like 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
You look at our roads and they're good for like 5 years, and I feel like the U.S. should have a lot better infrastructure than we do, because I mean there are a decent amount of cities with very good infrastructure, but I feel like overall I think we're kind of lacking a little bit.
I feel like it'd be really good for the rest of the world to be kind of a shining light for look at how good our infrastructure is, and I think that'd be really good, like an inspiration to a lot of other countries around the world.
Yeah, but we just just invest in our fucking military, and I mean defense is very important, but like I mean, come the fuck on. Why? But
now it's not even just our military. Like now it's also Ukraine's military. Like there's another aspect to it too. Like we're also helping other people's military.
I mean, that's how it's been for like a very long time with America, and I mean.
Yeah. But I don't think we've ever given this much to any other country. Right?
We give a lot of fucking money to Israel, like billions of dollars a year in subsidies.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make this shorter. Can I?
You can bend it like this.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out, like, the best, the best way to have it.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought.
No idea.
What do you think is going to happen with this war?
In Ukraine?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know. I hope Ukraine wins. I don't think... I feel like it would be... I don't know, because, like, Russia took Crimea in 2014 and kind of... Nothing happened. I mean, yeah, there were some sanctions and stuff, but, I mean, that obviously did not stop them too much.
Yeah.
But I feel like I really hope Ukraine wins.
I hope they win too, but I just don't know at what cost.
I mean,
Like I don't want them to win if it's gonna drag on for another 10 years.
yeah.
Like that's a lot
I-
of unnecessary death.
I completely agree, but I mean, I also don't think that they should just surrender, their territory. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a military expert or anything, but I believe that, that land is theirs, and I don't think Russia has. I mean, sure, they may have a claim to it, whatever, because, our people live here, whatever, blah, 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 but, I mean, at the end of the day, it's an invasion into a sovereign country's soil, and America has done that quite a few times. We've had quite a few special military operations, but it's different.
Which is ironic, because in this case we're like.
Well, yeah, because it's against our interest.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Ukraine is a very important player globally because of the amount of wheat and crops they produce. And that has been kind of decimated because of this war.
Yeah.
Also the natural gas that Ukraine has. I feel like it is not good for the Western world if we
lose, if it all ends up in Russia's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Which I'm sure is one of the motivations as to why we don't want Russia to win, or the United States government and military does not want.
I mean, personally, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of interventionist policies. I feel like if a country is having a civil war, that let them resolve it themselves.
Yeah.
In this case, it is a United Nations Security Council member invading a former Soviet satellite state. But I feel like they are close enough to NATO to where it's all right, buddy, you need to step back. You need to watch yourself. So
I do wish that Russia hasn't been so. I mean, really, ever since Soviet Union era, for the past 40 years, Russia has just been demonized, and it's also been okay to just demonize it and make them as the enemy. And I mean, any movie, whatever, for the past 40 years, and everyone's just kind of trained to be Russia's the bad guys.
I mean, that's kind of we were the two superpowers, and up until I would say pretty recently, it seemed like we're on pretty equal footing. But I feel like this war has shown that at least militarily, Russia is not in a good spot.
Way behind,
A
lot of the stuff they're using was old. Old equipment and stuff.
Obviously, I don't know what their information, or that aspect of it is or what their spies are like. But from an infantry, from a ground standpoint, they don't seem to be doing too good. And I mean, one of the reasons for that is because for so long they've had sanctions and stuff on them because they were a communist country. And if the United States isn't doing business with you, neither is a lot of fucking people. And if you can't do business with the United States, I mean, you have to look to Russia, China, North Korea, for business. And we have more money than they do, just straight up.
In some levels, I guess. I mean, we're in so much debt, it's really hard to say who has the most money.
National debt, it does not matter. In my opinion, we're fucking probably 20.
I mean, it is kind of like a number kind of in the air.
Yeah, we're $26 trillion in debt, right?
Yeah.
Fuck does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
We're not, taxpayers are never getting that money back. China's never getting that money back. Russia's never getting that money back.
Yeah.
Someone wants to ask us to give them that money back, we're going to say, okay, you give us, all of the fucking money that you owe us, and it's just, not going to end well. But, in my opinion, from what I learned in college, the national debt is an important fact that matters, but ultimately, it to governments, debt is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because you can always raise taxes or lower taxes according, to your needs to pay for whatever you want. And yeah.
Yeah. When do you have to leave? It's almost midnight.
Oh, probably now, honestly.
Okay.
Maybe
wrap
like
it- we'll-
15 minutes.
Okay. I want to ask you about. I mean, this is sort of a vague question, but I mean, the reason I wanted to talk to you now is because I mean, you're about to be 22 years old.
Yes, sir.
I would say. I mean,
Big tutu.
most people say 21 is like a big milestone, which it is. But I think every year is a pretty big milestone.
Yeah,
So
it's another year around the sun.
yeah, I just want to know how you feel about that.
I don't know. It's another year. At this point, like, I don't know. With work, my routine is pretty well solidified because I work Monday to Friday, have the weekends off. I'll, like, go out and get drunk Friday, maybe Saturday. So,
Kind of like a typical adult business job.
yeah, time goes
Weekends
by
off.
very, very, very fast now. Like, I've been working at my job for a year, and it does not feel like I've been here for even close to a year.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh,
What about your relationship? I mean, how long have you been with this girl?
Our 8 months is tomorrow, but I mean, we've been pretty much together for like 2 years, honestly.
How do you feel about that?
Pretty good, honestly. She's a very cool person. She's like literally the only
Do you think
person.
she's gonna listen to this?
She wants to.
What's her name?
Haley. She's like the only person that
Hi,
I feel
Haley.
very like comfortable just existing around. Like, I'll hang out with people, but I don't just hang out and like really like chill and not talk. But like with her, I can just chill and not have to feel like
Yeah, you don't
know,
feel obligated.
I don't feel like I need to say anything or like be anybody or do anything, which is really fucking nice, you
Yeah.
know, because like I can get off of work and just go over there and just
Yeah.
zen out and not,
Yeah.
not like, obviously we talk a lot, but I don't ever feel like we won't be sitting and I'm not like, oh, like this is awkward. I need to,
Yeah.
I need to say something to kind of fill this in. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. She's my
I understand
person.
that.
She's very, very cool person, very smart.
I feel the same way about my girlfriend, and I'm not even just saying that because we're like, we just happen to be together at this time.
Mm.
But yeah, I've never been with someone that I can feel like as comfortable like I am around her.
Yeah. It's very nice, and like I don't want to take it for granted because like, I mean, even when I hang out with like some of my friends, it's like, I want to be here, but also like I kind of rather just be home, doing my own thing. But like I'll go hang out with Haley. I'm like, this is
This what I
nice.
want.
Like even if we're just like sitting watching TV or like not doing anything, just like in in the same room together, it's just like this is very nice, very calm, very very comfortable, very cozy, very very safe, But
Yeah.
she's been there. I've known her for like, man, since middle school. We dated in
Wow.
dated quotation marks in high school.
I've never met her, have I?
No, I don't think so. But no, she's a great person. I love spending time with her. We hang out literally every day. We've spent almost every day together for the past like 2.5 years at this point. So it's kind of just like part of the routine now, which is kind of like, on the one hand, it's like, I wish I was doing new stuff, but it's also like, this
Yeah.
is, this is my person. So
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a point where you're like, I don't need anything new after this. Like, this is a good.
you have to
I
be
wanna stay
content.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to be content here.
Exactly. It's like we're going on this trip together, and it's just like I've been in one long-ish relationship before, so this is all kind of like new to me, instead of just kind of like being in the moment with somebody, like thinking about
Yeah.
the future exists type shit.
Yeah.
So it's like we're going to a whole different country together, which like I went to Italy last year by myself, which was very nice because I was able to kind of be alone and just figure out like where I was at the time. And now I get to do that, and I get to be with somebody else, which will either be really fun or
Yeah.
maybe a little bit less fun. Like I don't.
It could be stressful at times, but I think there definitely could be something like beautiful about like you guys being like foreigners.
Getting to figure it
in
out
this-
together.
Yeah, you have to figure it out together, and you're both kind of lost. And
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think that'll be. I feel like that'll be good for me and good for us, 'cause like. I don't know. We don't really do like too much normally. Like we mostly just hang out and watch shows. Like we go on dates and go out and get food and stuff. But like, we're not doing too much like crazy stuff like normally. So getting out to go do this and experience this together, I think will be amazing. And I'm very ready for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
1,000%.
What kind of interests do you guys share?
Anime is honestly the main one. We listen to very different music, but I mean, she likes my music and she listens to it now, and I like the music that she shows me.
You guys like singing each other's songs and stuff?
Yeah, so not like too often. I mean, honestly, we don't really like. We hang out all the time and we talk all the time and only pretty much to each other. But like, apart from that, like we're not sitting there, like we both have our own lives,
Yeah.
so it's like if one of us doesn't respond for a little bit or whatever, it's just like, like you're working
You're
or
not
whatever.
stressing about it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But like we'll send songs occasionally, but honestly we spend so much fucking time together that we don't really like, we talk when we're apart, but not too much, because it's like, one of the things I've learned is that when you spend every fucking day with somebody, you run out of things to talk about. And
Yeah.
I would personally rather talk about things in person than like over text or whatever. It's like a lot of our texting is like, pretty surface level, but then like we get together and we'll talk for like, an hour or two and then go put something on. But, like that is always very nice, 'cause like whenever we hang out, like we always talk for a while, and if we're at her place, like we'll go sit on the balcony or whatever, chat, catch up, do all the stuff we need to, and then be like, all right, cool, time to just kind of exist together. And it's really nice to be able to just exist with somebody and not have to think about,
how to perform correctly in like the social environment.
Exactly, yeah. And like with her, I still do, 'cause everything is, to an extent, everything is an act for everybody, but with her, it's just more of like, more me, I guess. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Haley?
Where do I start? Honestly, the way her brain works is so, because like she's very smart, she's very funny, and she has a very beautiful laugh. But then like sometimes, she'll ask something and it's kind of just like, or she'll say something, it just kind of makes you think. And I love it about her, because like I don't know why, I find it very like, she's so unabashedly herself, like she's not really trying to be anybody that she's not, and I don't feel like she's really putting on an act for people. She may feel that way, but I feel like in every situation she is so her, and that's something that I'm kind of almost jealous of, because I feel like I don't like change who I am based on who I'm hanging out with, but different sides definitely come out more. If that makes sense. But I feel like for her it's all just, it's all the same. And
so you think maybe she's more comfortable being vulnerable just around everyone?
maybe, but I think that's very admirable. She's really smart. She knows a lot, and I need to listen to her more, 'cause she's right a lot, and I'm like, she'll say something like, that doesn't sound right, but I believe you.
Yeah.
And then I'll go a bit and I'll look it up and I'll be like, you were right.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn it. I was wrong. You know, because of course I want to be right, but
Yeah.
you know, she's right. Like a pretty damn fucking annoyingly, a high amount of the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, but
But in situations like that, you probably don't mind that much, like being wrong about
no,
something.
no, I love like not arguing, but like talking about things. And if you can, you know, show me how I'm wrong and explain why, I think that's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
And or if you say, you know, if you're right and then I look it up and you're right, I'll be annoyed, you know, because like I'll be like, ah, damn. But like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm learning something new, or my thoughts on something are changing, and that is more important than me being right in whatever. Like,
Yeah.
because we don't really fight or argue or anything, but like we'll get into some heated conversations, and it's never about anything, you know, that matters. But like, one of the things that we kind of get into it about is winking and blinking. You know,
Yeah.
is a wink half a blink? Is a blink two winks put together? You know, what makes a wink? You know, and it's always just very kind of like pedantic and completely unimportant things, you know, but
On
it's
some
just,
level.
yeah, it's just like, it's fun to talk about and fun to think about, and we'll go at it a little bit, but, you know, it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, you fucking bitch, like, you're wrong, you don't know what a fucking wink is. I'm sitting there like,
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? Like, obviously it's this way, and she said, they're like, no, it's this,
Yeah.
but it's just us like, we both know, you know, the other has like a decent point, and it could be that, but at the end of the day, this is what I started the argument with. So, you know, I'm gonna
Stick by it.
exactly. I can't
Yeah.
change my mind, but you know, I've been trying to be like, if she's right, I'll be like, you know, like, damn it, you're right. You know, I don't want you to be right, but I'm glad that you are, because now I know this, and you know, I was obviously wrong before,
Yeah.
and I would rather get corrected on something than go around and be like, oh, hey, did y'all know blah blah blah, and then someone later is like, you fucking dumb. No, it's not. You know.
Yeah, my girlfriend told me this, and she was right about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, no. I'm like, my girlfriend told me, so it's the truth, buddy.
Yeah.
Believe it.
Mm-hmm. You said you've never been on a podcast. Are you a fan of them? Like, do you ever listen to them? Have you ever thought about being on one?
Not really. I mean, like, I listen to them sometimes, but like, I don't know. Personally, I just much prefer listening to music. Like, I watch YouTube some. Since I started working, I've been watching it more because I have downtime where I can just like, you know, sit and just hear people. But I like to kind of be able to just, like, when I listen to music, I'm not really listening like for the lyrics or anything. I'm just listening because I'm like,
The tunes sound nice.
yeah, like this sounds nice. This sounds pleasing on my ears. Like, you know, I can sit here and type and work on this, and it's not, you know, it's not like overbearing, or I'm not getting distracted by it. But like, when I watch stuff or if I listen to people talking, you know, I want to pay more attention to it, because like, yeah, you know, you get some of it if you're listening in the background, but unless you're like actively listening, I feel like you miss out on a good bit of what people are saying, and then you have to go back and, you know, listen to it again, blah blah blah. And I'd rather just, you know, sit there, put my tunes on.
Yeah.
But man, I like podcasts. Like, there are a lot of good podcasts. I feel like podcasts kind of blew up, and I was like, damn, everyone, you know, like, everyone has a podcast now. It's like, there's nothing wrong with, because it's always interesting to hear people talk and see, you know, other points of views. But I personally would rather, you know, sit and watch the highlights than sit and watch
The highlights of a
podcast or something,
instead
or
of a
just
whole, like 3
yeah, or just see like,
conversation.
you know, a clip from it or something, because at the end of the day, like, most of the time I don't know these people. Like, sure, I might, you know, watch their YouTube videos, or I might see them in a show or something, but like, at the end, like, it is nice to see other people's, you know, point of views, but at the same time, like, I don't give a fuck about, you know, what you're saying about this. Like, I'm gonna form, you know, unless you're a doctor talking about medicine or a lawyer talking about law, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if you're, no offense, but if you're just some guy and you're trying to give advice on like, you know, all these different things, unless you have expertise in that field,
Yeah.
don't care. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, I never. I don't think I listen to any podcasts that don't. I don't listen to anything that like tells me how it is. I like to, like any certain podcast that I listen to, it always leaves room for like the audience member to
To like make your own opinions and
think
stuff.
about it for myself.
That's good. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely
Yeah.
like you don't want to.
I'm just not interested in that kind of like someone telling me exactly how it is.
Yeah, I mean that's not like, I'm not saying that's how most podcasts are. Like most of the time it's just them, you know, saying their own opinions, but
Yeah.
a lot of the
There
time
are a lot of people though who listen to podcasts and people's opinions on podcasts, and then they just like
absorb them.
reiterate that.
Yeah, and they don't actually dive in to
Yeah, they
see
don't even
what the
dive
fuck
in.
they're
They
talking
just-
about.
they-
I mean that's
They're
how
just like,
like,
that sounded good. I think that's right.
yeah, it's like I'm just gonna go tell everyone I know this.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
Because it
Yeah.
sounded good.
Yeah.
Which I mean it's kind of also a problem just with how the world is now, because people will see a 20-second TikTok video or
Yeah.
a YouTube video or whatever on something and be like, okay,
And
know,
now they can explain to me the entire Israel-Palestine conflict.
yeah, that's why like whenever I try and explain some stuff, I'm like, look,
I don't know.
this is my opinion on this.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you want to know what I'm talking about and if you want to form an opinion, do your own research. But I'm not do your own research in like COVID isn't real, do your own research type of way, but in like
Just think about it.
like
have
you-
some humility.
yeah, like
Humility is
you
important.
have to form your own, like, yes, it is nice to be kind of guided to an opinion or to a thought. Like, if my doctor tells me to eat healthy, I'll be like, okay, you're a doctor, you probably know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. If my friend that, has been working out for a while and is fit, it tells me to eat healthy, I'll be like, okay, sure. But like if, one of my friends who never works out, eats how I do, pizza rolls, corn dogs, chicken
Yeah.
nuggets, I'll be
He's
like,
you should eat healthy because I heard it on this thing.
I'll be like,
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
You're probably right, but like,
yeah, but
you should do that. But it
Yeah.
is also very easy to give advice than like follow it. Like one of the things that,
Yeah.
a big saying is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Like with everything, with budgeting, with like all these plans, like a business plan, whatever. Like I can make someone the best budget ever where, in 5-10 years they'll have $1 million. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter unless they can actually, when it comes down to it, when it comes time, they have to be able to put in that work because they want to get better. Like with the gym, you can go meet with a physical, with a trainer all you want. They can give you the best plan to where, you'll have a crazy six-pack, crazy abs, some big old glutes, whatever the fuck you want.
yeah.
But unless you actually sit there and you go work and you grind it out, it doesn't matter. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, unless you're working towards it, it's just words.
Yeah.
And to quote Teddy Roosevelt or whoever the fuck said it, actions speak louder than words. They really do,
Let me see who did say that. I think he
Probably a
might be
lot
right.
of people. I don't know if it was Teddy, but that seems all right. Yeah, I probably got just like not too much more time actually.
Okay.
Do be 12:18. Fuck, I have to go in the office tomorrow.
Well, this is your first time on a podcast. I think you
Yes, sir.
did great. It was fun. I had a fun time.
Me too. I feel like you're a pretty good podcast host because the questions were were fluid. They kept kept going. And
I tried. I was very exhausted for like the first over half of it. I was like,
you seemed a little tired.
The questions were keeping me awake, but but I was still paying attention. I was doing my best.
Yeah. No, I had a good time. It was I haven't
Mark-
done anything like this before,
Mark
but it.
Twain.
Mark Twain
Actions
said it.
speak louder than words, but
Mm.
not nearly as often.
Yeah. It is. I mean, with quitting nicotine, it's really easy to say that I'm going to quit nicotine. I'm going to stop
Yeah.
doing drugs, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, are you actually going to fucking quit nicotine?
Yeah.
and that is a lot of people can make the plan, the 5-year plan, 10-year plan, whatever, but it's the sitting down and following it and adjusting it along the way that matters more than making it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for spending your time with me, and thanks for talking today.
Thanks for having me on the podcast. Everyone, like, subscribe,
Yeah, sure.
listen,
do that.
Listen.
Thank you guys for listening. Whoever's here.
Yeah, facts. If you have any questions,
I'll put your links, whatever.
No, I don't have any links.
You got an Instagram and stuff. I like to put those in. Facebook? I'll put your Facebook.
Nah.
I'm
a mystery.
I'll put your phone number in.
Nah.
No, definitely not.
I'll change my number.
Yeah.
This is a popular podcast.
I'll just put a random guy's phone number.
Yeah, facts. Just find just hop in the white pages.
Yeah.
First number you see. Just
a
open
different Seraphim Sherman.
Boom. 412-222-3891.
Randy Buttocks?
Yep, that's me.
That's him.
Bend Over? Is that you? Mike Hunt? All those good ones. The classic names.
All right. Thanks again, man.
Of course.
Bye, everybody.